What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA. I'm your host, like always, Evil Eddie, and it is Sunday morning, about 11 o'clock right now. We're going live on the YouTube channel. So if you're tuning in on the podcast on iTunes or podbean.com, make sure you guys go check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, and we are going to be recapping last night, or really yesterday's events, because it was over the pond, so it was in the afternoon, and it's such a shame. I mean, to start things off, I'm going to be talking about how many people really did watch yesterday's fight. Not just one on UFC Fight Pass, but it was also earlier in the day here on the East Coast and in the United States in general. So early morning for the West Coasters over there, starting at 3 o'clock here on the East Coast, so starting at noon over in California. So it's so unfortunate because it was such a big win for Darren Till, and a lot of people weren't expecting Till to win. I mean, there were a couple people out there. Shout out to Minion, who actually was our UFC Pick'em winner for the UFC Pick'em League, who did pick Darren Till. When this fight was first announced, I'm biting my tongue now because I was like, this is a really risky fight for a Cowboy to take. One, Darren Till isn't known to many people that, a lot of casual fans out there. A lot of casual fans barely even know who Cowboy Cerrone is, and it's such a shame. But not only that, but Cowboy's on a 2-fight losing streak going into this. We've never seen Cowboy on a consecutive losing streak. Somebody pointed that out yesterday, and I was like, every other year it's like hot and cold for Cowboy. I mean, 2016, the guy went like 4 fights in a row, just killing it, and then decides to change weight classes. And unfortunately, we thought we were going to see a non-depleted version of Cowboy, and he usually starts a little slow. I mean, we know this in some of his past fights. It's just a shame. One of two things. It's a shame that not many people were watching because Darren Till had an amazing performance. And let me tell you something about Darren Till. When he walked out, the confidence. I mean, you see all these fighters out there trying to act like Conor. And when I say act like Conor, I'm saying they try to talk like Conor. They don't really try to embody the confidence, not the ego. People confuse the ego and the confidence. They're not the same thing. When we watch Conor McGregor walk out, especially when he fought Jose Aldo, especially at UFC 205, Eddie Alvarez, especially even when he walked up for Dennis Siver, we're going to rewind way back. You can just tell this guy's confidence level is up there, and he feels so positive that he's gonna go in there and finish the fight. We've seen this in the past with like Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva's paid for his ego. I'm gonna say Anderson Silva has more of an ego because he'll literally just keep his chin out. He's paid for that in the past. But Darren Till walked out, and you can just tell that this man is probably the future of the UFC. And I might get shade for that. I might get people saying that it's bullshit, and I have to disagree with you guys. I mean, what we witnessed last night was amazing. And speaking about young up-and-comers, after the fight, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I don't know if any of you guys caught this, but while Till was doing his post-fight speech, Platinum Mike Perry was ringside running his mouth trying to get, the people going to think about that possible matchup if he can get past Ponzinibbio. So how about that? I mean, I just love it. These future stars, it's just unraveling before our eyes, and I love that. Even watching people at like Titan FC, Victory FC, Valor fights, stuff like that, like seeing young up-and-comers come up before they're in the UFC. Now that you see them in the UFC and it's all just coming together, it's just a beautiful thing. You always wonder who's going to be the next big star. This is something that people were talking about all week. Who's going to be the next big star? I mean, 2017 has been so slow, and I'm excited for the second half of the year. We have a lot of exciting cards that we can look forward to, like UFC 217, and as we get towards December with UFC 219. But it's been pretty slow this year, and we're going to do a recap show and highlight some of the best performances, some of the best fights that happened this year. But compared to 2016 and 2015, we were just spoiled the last couple of years, and this year we can feel the star power not really there, not really present. The biggest fight this year was Maymack. Wasn't even in the octagon. It was in boxing. That's what really is on top this year for most talked about fight. Not the best fight, most talked about fight. But honestly, guys, it's just you can just see it. You can see it when he's walking. Cowboy has been a legend of mixed martial arts for how many years? I mean, I know he's on a 3-fight losing streak, so there are people out there that are really upset about this loss, but what are you going to do? This guy, it was just his night. He had the better performance. I see a lot of you guys out there, I'm not saying you specifically, but a lot of people on social media freaking out about Cowboy, and Dana White actually tweeted something out. So let me read this. What do you guys think about this? Because you might have a different opinion about it. This was just a couple of hours ago via Dana White's Twitter page. Let's see here. And how about Conor McGregor? We're going to be talking about this in just a second here, but Conor McGregor ringside for the Artem fight. Where is this man's tweet? Here it is. I got it for you guys. All right, so Dana White responds to all these people out there that are freaking out. So Dana White says, "Shut the fuck up, you pussies." This kid, I mean, that's perfect as Dana White. That's the way Dana White starts every sentence. "Shut the fuck up, you pussies. This kid put on an unbelievable performance against a fucking legend and a badass motherfucker in Cowboy Cerrone. When fighters step in, they win or lose. Cowboy has been on both sides and showed total class as usual and is praised. And praised Darren Till. Sorry about that. You people on social media are the biggest crying fucking pussies I have ever seen. I love Cowboy. He's fought and he's lost tonight. It happens, so shut the fuck up." 50,000 people liked it right off the bat. I mean, what do you guys think about this? Darren Till going in there and making such a good highlight moment. But here's the thing, and I brought this up a second ago. It's just a shame that it was one on UFC Fight Pass and two in the afternoon. And I know that you have to go both ways. I mean, throughout the year we have it really good here on the East Coast, getting fights starting at 6, 7 o'clock or whatnot, and across the sea, especially. They want to see their boy Darren Till and a lot of the fighters over there. That it's expensive to fly a lot of people over. So if you have a fight in that area, you get all the local fighters to come out. I mean, you got to do it for them. Certain times of the year. I totally understand that. It's only fair, but at the same time, when there's a performance like this, you just wish that more people were tuning in to watch it. I mean, going back, look at the Mark Hunt versus Bigfoot fight. People weren't watching it because it was down in I think it was in Australia. I mean, not many people were tuning in to watch that fight. And it was on UFC Fight Pass yesterday. How many people are actually subscribed to UFC Fight Pass? That's the other thing. So we got to wonder, and I don't want to jump the gun, but what's next for Darren Till? We can only hope that they put him on a main event for an FS1 card. So let me know what your guys' thoughts about this on Twitter at evil_echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. So I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, guys. Make sure you go check out mymmanews.com. I'm now officially working for mymmanews.com. So all of my content, where you're listening to the podcast, watching me here on YouTube, or wherever you're watching this content or listening right now, you can always find the video cast or the podcast or something that I wrote on mymmanews.com, along with fight recaps, live result updates throughout the night. Last night we did it for mymmanews.com. So go check the website out. You can find all the official Pure Evil MMA content there. And make sure you guys follow me on iTunes if you're watching the video cast right now. That is the mothership. I like to consider the podcast a mothership because that's where I'm spending most of the time editing, using special effects. I mean, here live on YouTube, you can only do so much live. So, if you want to see the good polished off version, and we're going to be reviewing some MMA news on Pure Evil MMA episode number 50, but we were just talking with Ted Check, so the latest podcast is up. We were talking about the staph infections. Everyone's catching staph. We just saw it on Kevin Lee last weekend at UFC 216. We recapped all of that. Just a lot to talk about. So make sure you guys go check that out on iTunes and also on the YouTube page at Pure Evil MMA. And we go live every Wednesday night, me and Ted Check, at 10 o'clock. I mean, lately we've been going Thursday, so sorry about that. Competing with Ultimate Fighter Season 26 has bringing in the best ratings, but it's a little hard. Me and Ted, we're doing the recaps, but he's not feeling this season of Ultimate Fighter, so it is what it is, guys. So make sure you're subscribed on both YouTube and on iTunes, Podbean at Pure Evil MMA. So, all right, moving forward, one of the big things that you guys have been talking about UFC last night, Cowboy versus Till, is Artem's fight. Artem's going in this fight. I mean, he's only won 2 fights. He lost 3 going into it. Now he is 2-4. It is very unfortunate. And the thing is, I don't think the UFC would cut him. I really don't. I do not believe Dana White would cut him, even though usually you see a guy, if he has even 3 losses, sometimes 2 losses, and you see right off the bat, they're usually cut. They're usually given the pink slip. This is a guy who came off that season Ultimate Fighter. He even lost during the season Ultimate Fighter, and they brought him back. A lot of people said it was because he's Conor's boy. If you want to believe it, believe it. If not, I mean, he puts on exciting fights. He goes in there, and this is what I love about him. And this is a reason why I think and don't believe that they would cut him. It's because every time this guy shows up, there's so many people that are talking about it, number 1. Number 2, yeah, he is Conor's boy, so there is that. And number 3, he shows up to fight, and that's the most important. That should be number 1. He shows up to fight every single time. There's always a risk of him knocking somebody out, but he hasn't been making it happen. He's going in there and fighting guys like Ishihara or Touchy-Feel. I mean, he's fighting all of Uriah Faber's boys, which I love. It adds an even better element and reminiscent of Ultimate Fighter Season 22. But at the same time, there's a lot of people up there upset because he's not treated fairly. I mean, it's not fair to the other guys. But at the same time, Dana White's looking for the next star. I might get shade for this. I know I am, and it's only fair that I do. But it's only one opinion out of thousands. What do you guys think about this? Let me know on Twitter. But the highlight of all of it, and I had Touchy-Feely winning this. I want him to win, but it felt so bad for Artem. He's talking about retiring afterwards, and you know what do you got? What do you got to do? I mean, now he's 13-14. I mean, that's rough. That's a rough one. And shout out to somebody yesterday on on Artem's page. They were like, man, don't worry about your record. They showed him a record of a guy who's like 23-236. The dude's, sorry, I have that back. Or do I have that? Yeah, 14-236. It's like, oh my God. That's probably like a Muay Thai fighter, because we see a lot of Muay Thai guys with like a 500 record. But Artem, I mean, what is next for this guy? Do you think that UFC is going to cut him? Do you think that they're going to let him back on? Do you agree with me? You had Conor McGregor ringside getting yelled at. I loved it. It wasn't right. I mean, it's not fair. I love that Conor McGregor's running around the outside of the octagon, but it's not fair. No one's really allowed to do this. Why is Conor McGregor in the special treatment? It's because he's the biggest fucking star they have in the UFC, and it's the most thing. It's the top thing that everybody was talking about yesterday, which is, it's just funny, man. It's funny. So that was definitely the highlight of yesterday. Here, I got a couple pictures of it for you guys here in the video. There he is, ringside, yelling at Artem. It's just reminiscent of Ultimate Fighter Season 22. Head movement, nice and flowy, Artem, nice and flowy. Jumping up on the cage, ripping his pants. There he's getting yelled at by, I believe it was Mark Goddard. And praise Mark Goddard for that, because it's not fair. It's not fair. But that is Conor's boy. People do tune in to watch this guy fight. It was on the prelims, which I was a little surprised. I mean, somebody like Artem, I really believe it's already on Fight Pass. Why is this not on the main card? It's like UFC 216. They had those 2 girls starting off the pay-per-view, and no shade thrown at them. They did a great job. I'm very happy for them. They get the pay-per-view points. They get noticed. But at the same time, why wasn't Bobby Green versus who the fuck did Bobby fight? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank now. Why am I drawing a blank? But why wasn't that fight on the main card? You know what I mean? Why is Artem versus Touchy-Feely on the prelims of a Fight Pass card? I don't understand I don't understand that. I really don't. So Artem is now 4 losses in the UFC. He got taken down like 4 times in the 3rd round. We got Horse Racing Digest checking in, and thank you so much, Lando. It was Bobby Green versus Lando that it really should have been on the main card. I don't understand why they do stuff like this. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. So thank you for that, Horse Racing Digest. And got to give a shout out to you guys that are tuning in on Evil and Intoxicated. We have this thing going on where they want to make TED shirts, and we have a couple people that have made some pretty funny designs. Him bashing Luke Thomas, because Luke Thomas, he is a vet, but he wouldn't kneel for the national anthem, agrees with the NFL players or something like that. I don't usually get involved, which is why I don't know the whole story, but you guys that do follow TED Check, I love it. I love it. So let's get some more designs out there. I'm going to be submitting one of my own for the infamous TED Check. But what did you guys think was the best fight of the fights yesterday? Was it the main event? Was it Cowboy Cerrone versus Darren Till? Was it Artem Lobov? I mean, every fight really delivered last night. How about Aspen Ladd beating Lena Landsberg and just the vicious scream that she had? I mean, that So brutal. So brutal. Lena Landsberg having a rough run, starting her debut in the UFC, fighting somebody like Chris Cyborg. She did pretty well in that fight. I mean, she lasted a decent amount of time in that fight. The elbow queen, the elbow princess, whatever Lena's nickname is. But it's just Aspen Ladd, man, going in there and just putting on a performance like that. What is next for that young lady? So excited about it. Karolina Kowalkiewicz going against Jodie Esquibel. This was a tough one for Jodie. Not many people are familiar with Jodie. She is the girlfriend of Keith Jardine. He walked her out yesterday. I was talking about this on the preview show. And this was just a tough matchup. I mean, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, however you're saying her name, Kowalkiewicz, she's just a monster. She walks out with her hands behind her back. She can pretty much be walking out in her pajamas, just like nothing to her. She just looks so comfortable, like it's nothing. Like she's walking up to buy ice cream or something. Like she's grocery shopping. Just nothing affects this girl. She sits in there, Bruce Buffer screaming in her face her name, and she gives you a thumbs up. I mean, this girl is I love it. How do you not love Karolina? And now she's going in there, but I didn't understand this matchup for Karolina. I don't know why they jumped Jodie for her debut. It would have been a huge win for Jodie, but we've seen before in the past with Jodie's fights, usually goes to decision, and it's usually left up to the judges. But she kept rushing in with her head down, and Karolina, after the second round, she noticed that and started making some really good adjustments, just landing a lot of knees to the head of Jodie, and just wasn't really respecting Jodie's power. Karolina was just a monster. I love every time she goes in there, but want to see her fight some better competition, honestly. We got Ann checking in. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Chris. Oh, the MMA holes. What's going on, fellas? Sup, yo? Going on in the live chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. What did you rate this card, guys? I mean, out of 5 stars, you got to ask yourself, it was free for the most part. I mean, it wasn't a pay-per-view. You have to watch that on UFC Fight Pass. It was also in the afternoon. So when I find that happening, I usually can't get myself excited enough. It's not like later in the afternoon, I'm looking forward to it. It's like you wake up, you start your day, you sit down, and there's MMA news on, and it just feels like you're missing the day, sort of. But, people across the seas, like I said, it's only fair for them. Throughout the year, we get a lot of good time on the East Coast, even the West Coast, starting at like 6, 7 o'clock. But when you're watching fights in the afternoon, it's hard to like kick into gear. I find that hard, especially, even the Silva versus Bisping card. It was just so hard to get yourself there. By the time the fights are over, it's still the afternoon. You're just kind of like left there. I don't know. It's just weird. But, with that in mind, what did you guys rate last night's card? So what are you guys saying from checking in? Horse Racing Digest, away from the main event, Philly versus Labov for the performance of the night. And Nasrat Hakaras was the highlight of last night for me. There were a lot of great performances last night. I think Aspen Ladd, man. Aspen Ladd versus Lena Landsberg really stuck out for me. Unfortunately, Sam Alvey, I was really expecting more out of him. He had a tough weight cut, man. 34 pounds like a couple days out before the fight. I mean, you're just seeing a depleted version of Sam Alvey. It's just unfortunate. Another guy who'll get the ball rolling. He'll have a great year, and then he'll lose one. And it just sucks because I always look forward to his post-fight speeches. A lot of you guys hate it. MMA Holes ranking in. I thought the card was a dope Fight Pass card. I agree, man. Totally agree. It's another gem, another hidden gem here in 2017. And checking in. Cowboy, nothing but total respect. We know that Ann's a huge Cowboy fan. And I got to say, nothing but respect for Cowboy. But it was just so crazy leading up to this fight when you got somebody like Darren Till saying that his Muay Thai is mediocre. I was just like, oh my God, how could you say that? But you know what? My lips are sealed now. I'm definitely on this, on the Darren Till train. How can you not be? I mean, the last couple of fights of his, have gone to decision. He does have a finish in his last 4 fights. And now with last night's performance, stopping somebody like Cowboy Cerrone, hats off to Darren Till, man. Hats off to that guy. Absolutely love it. Walking around like he owned the joint. And why not? That's the MMA Holes. Walking around like he owned the joint. Connor prancing around the place was fucking hilarious. That was the highlight of the night. I mean, somebody even tweeted out, and shout out to them. They were like, I wish Connor can do that at every event. Just walk around, just giving tips out, just screaming. I love it. and he got yelled at. I mean, it's only fair, though. I mean, just to be real, it's only fair. Other guys can't do that, but it's fucking Conor McGregor. So, it was definitely comical. Once again, there's photos of Conor McGregor sitting there with his arms crossed, just all swole, as the MMA holes would say. Just sitting there. But you can't be running around the cage giving screaming advice. I mean, it's just not fair. And checking in. Oh, Bunny or Honey Bunny is still recovering from Cowboy losing. You know what? Cowboy changing weight classes. We were looking forward to it. We were looking forward to what he can do at that division. But I have to say, you got to figure out the right way to cut weight. Drop back down to lightweight. I want to see Cowboy back out lightweight. The welterweight division, I don't know. I mean, his last fight with Lawler, it was so close. A lot of people do think that Cowboy won that fight. I scored it for Robbie Lawler. And if you go back and watch that fight, definitely one of the stand-up fights so far this year. But come on. I mean, you're on a 3-fight losing streak. It's tough. Going home with a 3-fight losing streak, it's just a shame. But the biggest shame about all of this, guys, and I keep saying it, is really that no one really got to see Darren Till last night. This is a guy that really should have been put on the spotlight for this card. I really like to see this on an FS1 card. But like I keep saying, I'm sorry for repeating myself. It's only fair that they have this over there, and maybe they'll give him a main event in a couple of months headlining a FS1 card. I really hope so. Hopefully he can find his way even on a pay-per-view card. There's a lot of great fights for this guy's future. I mean, I know Mike Perry was ringside and he was screaming at him after the fight. I don't know how many people were catching that. I'll see if I can pull it back up, but that's a possible matchup I would love to see. But I'm even more excited about this whole Pons and Bibio fight with Platinum Mike Perry, but just seeing the future of these two guys unraveling before our eyes. All right, what are you guys checking in? Sorry, and that shit was tough to watch, the MMA hole says. And saying, I thought the fight card was very good for being on Fight Pass, and I lost the stream, but Chris had good commentary. And I know, Chris, over at the MMA holes, I know that you were doing the Fight Buddies thing. I'm sorry I couldn't tune in for that. But, good shit over there at the MMA holes. Make sure you guys go check that out if you're tuning in here at Pure Evil MMA. Always like to shout out the MMA family here. MMA holes ranking in saying Cowboy would be perfect at 165 pounds. Dana drop that weight class. A lot of people are ranking for that 165 pound. There are people saying that they aren't in favor for changing weight classes. It's not the answer to all of our problems, but I see a lot of people actually saying that if you are going to make a weight class, make the 165 pound weight class. And ranking in, I am getting all sorts of shit from social media because Cowboy lost. And don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. I mean, you're going to see that on social media. When you sign up for a platform like Twitter, like Facebook, even Instagram, whatever you're on, I mean, you got to expect there's going to be backlash. There's going to be trolls out there. There's going to be people saying, running their mouth on their high horse. Let them have their fun. Let them have their fun. Don't get bothered by it. It just wasn't Cowboy's night. Shout out to Darren Till. I mean, I wanted Cowboy to win, trust me. But I knew, and I said this before the last couple of weeks, this was a risk for Cowboy Cerrone. I don't understand why they matched him up with Darren Till. This was a huge risk, and now we see Cowboy on a 3-fight losing streak. So you can't say shame on us for asking what's next for Cowboy. I'm sure he's asking himself the same thing. And what do you guys think about Artem coming out being really upset about losing the fight? Even mentioned that he might retire. Do you think he should retire? I brought this up earlier in the podcast. This message was held for review. A message from the MMA holes. Let's show it. Oh my God! This whole shout out to MMA holes for this one, and this was almost blocked. And ... Till has a micro penis. Oh shit! Always talking about, and it was so awkward when we were watching the Mayweather McGregor the weigh-in show, and even at the even at the fight when they were showing the weigh-in previews. One of my boys, he's a former Marine. He was like, "Holy shit, McGregor's dick is big." Everyone just looked over, we were all thinking it, but he fucking said it. Oh my God, who fucking does that? But it's right there, zooming on it. So you can't help but look at it. I mean, no homo, but it's just funny. And now a lot of people are freaking out that Conor McGregor backstage was trying to cheer Artem up, and he said some words to words to Artem about touchy-feely, calling him, the F word. And the F word when I was a kid was not this F word, but, the F word, calling him, and it's used a lot in the fight game. I mean, it's not meant to be like, it's more supposed to be like you're a girly boy. I mean, don't worry about that girly boy. I don't think he meant what a lot of people think he meant, but I asked my brother because my brother swings for that side of the team. I'm actually going to be the best man at his wedding, and I do support gay marriage. I mean, if you love, here's my look on the whole gay thing. If you love somebody and it's not the same, it's the same gender as you, love that person. Make them feel good about themselves. We all want to feel good about ourselves. So I have no problem with one of my friends or my little brother or anybody liking the same gender. It does not bother me. I'm glad that somebody is taking care and loving somebody that I care about. I have no issue with it. But I had to ask him, and he says, yes, using the word faggot, it's disrespectful. You shouldn't be using it. But it's a word that we find said a lot in the fight community, and it's not meant that way. It's meant more to show like he's not a tough guy. He's not tough. He's not gonna. What more can I say here? I mean, he doesn't mean he's. I don't want to get too into it. I hope you guys understand what I mean. But I think Conor should be getting the shit that he's getting from a lot of people on social media. He said it before. He even addressed it when I went to the Mayweather-McGregor presser. He even brought it up. He was like, I'm white from the top, but I'm black from the waist down. I mean, how were we supposed to take it? It just caught us so off guard. It was just such a weird moment. I mean, I hope Conor doesn't address what he said yesterday, and especially not the way he did before, like we had in the Mayweather-McGregor thing. It was just ridiculous. What are you guys ranking in here? Cowboy would be perfect at 165 pounds. You saw that. And Till has a micro penis. And says, I agree with you, Chris. Till has a micro penis. We get it, Eddie. All right, so I definitely don't want to go further on that subject. I mean, if it bothers you, I understand. If it doesn't bother you and you understand what Conor was saying, so be it. But you should watch what you are saying, especially when the cameras on are around you. The word of advice to Conor McGregor, take it or leave it. But guys, let's rank this card. I asked you a second ago. I'm going to rank this 4 out of 5. Another 4 out of 5. I ranked UFC 216 4 out of 5. Maybe more of a 3.5 out of 5. But every fight delivered on this card. Every single fight looked down the line, delivered on this card. So it was a success. Definitely a success over there for those guys over there in Poland. So I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5. What do you guys rank in? Let me know on Twitter. And what was your fight of the night? My fight of the night has to be the main event. Darren Till going in there. That's what we're going to be talking about as the year goes on. That's the fight that stands out on there. If we're talking about any other fight on here, it's Conor walking around inside the octagon. What do you guys think about this? Am I wrong? Let me know on Twitter, evil_echo. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Behave yourselves.